I started straying from God around middle school. It was a lot of hard stuff was going on in my life, and at that point, it was just not cool to be a Christian. I wanted to fit in with other kids, and God was just not a part of that for me. When I would go to church at that time, it was mainly to see friends that I had from church, and I was pretty indifferent about everything. I was the type of guy who would maybe sit with his friends and then be on his phone the entire time. I never really paid attention. I thought it just wasn't really my thing. When I was 12, my parents got divorced, and being the youngest sibling, I still had multiple years to be in the nest before I was sent on my own. And my sisters were moving on soon, so I kind of felt like I was being left behind, and I had to choose who I lived with. I started spiraling senior year of high school. And you would think that it would be drugs and alcohol, but that wasn't my thing. I didn't need substances to have a good time. My thing was trying to make people laugh and smile as much as possible. And that happened to be theft and arson. And that could have put me away for quite a long time and ruined my life. Just dumb stuff. So trying to impress people in your early 20s sounds a lot like girls. And I found myself in a relationship that was very toxic, and it wasn't good for either of us. From there, my relationship with everyone pretty much disappeared. I isolated myself a lot, except from that person. And from that, depression, anxiety, and anger started seeping into my life. Probably the worst part was believing a lie that I was trapped. Knowing what I know now, that was without a doubt the devil, and I actually almost paid the ultimate price for that. I remember one night sitting in my car in the middle of nowhere with a gun in my mouth, and when I pulled the trigger, it went click and not bang. And that sound being ingrained in my mind forever is something I think about daily. Even then, I was trying to rationalize what God clearly saved me from. So how I got back into church, consistently for years, my family had been almost weekly texting or calling me and asking me to come to church. And every time without fail, I would, knowing I'm not gonna go, just ask what time the service is and tell them maybe I'll show up. Yeah, I'll try to be there. And there was no way, there was no chance. What finally did it was a friend I hadn't seen in a long time came back to town. And just in conversation with them, I could tell they had fruit. And it seemed like that's what I was missing. And it seemed like, hey, maybe this God stuff isn't as taboo as I had once thought. Maybe this following Christ path is something I could at least try out. And from there, it was just set in stone. This was how I was supposed to be, and God was always there, and He was waiting for me to reach out to Him. So about a month and a half later, I made the decision to get baptized. And it was the best decision of my life. My sister even got to do it. That was cool. And then I started serving at the church. And funnily enough, my name, the first day I was here serving, I found out later, but right where I was sitting in the production booth, about a foot above my head was where my father wrote my name on the wall of the church. I'm still new at this, and it's not easy, but I'm better. I feel better, I'm happy, and I know it's because my family didn't give up on me. All the invites I ignored, all the times I didn't show up because I didn't think it was important, but I'm here. I'm here now, and I shouldn't be. And I think through that, it's my responsibility to find the next Jacob.